Hello and welcome to the first episode of Geek Stuff, where we're going to look at a Macintosh 512K. As you can see here, it's a pretty complete setup, except for the keyboard, which actually comes from a Macintosh Plus, which I've got right here. We'll be looking at that a little later. So a little bit later, we'll be booting up from it. I've got these nice homemade system discs. But for now, how about we crack it open and see what she looks like on the inside. So here are the ports on the back, not a lot of them, no USB or Thunderbolt, obviously. This whole thing's held together with 5 Torx screws. There's 1, 2, 3 right behind the battery thing there, and then there's 2 hidden way back here, which, as any seasoned Mac nerd will know, you need this scary looking thing, which is actually just a really long Torx bit. You can get them off eBay really cheap. But that just goes into there like any other screwdriver and looks pretty threatening. But all you do is put that back in there. Actually, it's a good idea to lay this down, not only so that you can see what you're doing and make sure your screwdriver is set to the right direction, but get in there. The back here is angled slightly, so if you accidentally drop a screw, it could go flying somewhere. And now we can just lift that up, tip it a little bit, and there are our first couple of screws. So we'll just stash those here. And grab the other ones. Okay, now that we've got all the screws off, I should have just let that stay down, because at this point all you have to do is lift her up. Push that out of the way a little bit so you can see the inside. I don't know if you can see the inside. Maybe a little bit. There's names in there of the team who worked on the Macintosh project way back in the day. And at the very bottom is the underside of the logic board. That's just a shield of some kind, and all that's here really that you need to take off is the floppy ribbon. Be careful of this, which I just did not be careful of, but definitely be careful of that, and certainly don't touch that. This, if you're lucky, should just pop right out. Yeah, that's the power, and yeah, I don't know exactly what that is, if that's just power. I think that might provide some video to the logic board, or vice versa. And so now, that should just slide right out. And you've got nearly the very first Macintosh ever made, the second generation, like I said. I've never seen a 128K in person, but from what I know, it's very similar to this. Right here is the delicious, yes, delicious 68K Motorola something or other. There's all the ports we saw earlier. Mouse, floppy, external floppy drive. What was this one? Modem, printer, and modem, I believe. And then there's an audio port right there. And that's pretty much it to the whole thing. Right there again is the floppy drive. That's basically this whole thing right here, and then the monitor, and then the no, not logic. This is the logic board right here. Da, 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 logic board. And yes, we will obviously break it. This is the analog board. This is where we saw the battery before, and the power switch and the power connector. And that's basically it. That's the whole shebang right there. And now we can put it back together because there's nothing else to look at really. So this just slides. Yeah. Eventually just slides right back in there. We can put the shield back on. And I think, other than putting the connections back, so the power, and it's hard to see. Okay, that goes right in there. Somehow. Motherfucker. Okie doke. So we'll grab the case again. Make sure we don't catch any of this plastic or anything. Oh, interesting to note here, if you want to mess with the screen size or position or brightness, I think cutoff it says, and focus, you can get a little screwdriver and kind of mess with these. You can do that live. I don't know if that's recommended. I've done it. That's up to you. I take no responsibility, of course. Okay, let's go on. It should just... Well, why are you catching on there? Isn't this just how it is? You can never get it back together as easy it comes apart. There. That goes... whatever. So, now we get to put all the screws back. All right, now that we've got it back together, we can start hooking it up. So first of all, here's the keyboard, which I don't know if I mentioned or not. It's a Macintosh Plus keyboard. I think I did. Yeah, mention that. Obviously not ADB or PS2 or USB or anything like that. It's kind of a proprietary phone cable sort of thing. And that just goes in the front, as well as right here on the back. And over here, the famous or infamous one-button mouse. And of course, because why not, a 400K, yes, 400K floppy drive, external floppy drive. And that just plugs into the back. Because with these early Macs, of course, you had to boot the operating system off of a floppy disk. It has no hard drive inside of it, so That means if you want to load programs or transfer data, and you only have one floppy drive and it's already being used by the operating system, well, have fun, basically. So an external floppy drive is basically mandatory if you want to get anything done. If you're just playing, it's fine. But even then, playing can be kind of annoying. So, well, why don't we just start with, I think, as far as I've been able to find, the very first version of the Macintosh operating system, basically just called System at the time, no Mac OS or anything. Certainly not OS 10. Beep. Obviously that means it's working, and we should get a nice "where's my fucking disk" icon. So why don't I just mess with the camera so we can see that better. So as you can see, it's looking for a disk. Where's my disk? So we'll feed it the disk. There you go, little monster. Eat. And it's happy. You've got a nice little happy Macintosh. Welcome to Macintosh. And that is it. That's the whole system. You can look on the disk and see what's on there. Not a whole lot, I assume. Nope, system folder, empty folder. We can look at the Finder here, and it should say the Macintosh Finder version 1.1G, 1984, Apple Computer, Bruce Horn and Steve Capps. So that's it. That's the whole thing. That's what everyone was excited for in 1984. I do have a couple programs here you can try out. Sort of the killer apps at the time, I think, Mac Paint and Mac Write. Mac Paint, developed by Bill Atkinson, who was responsible for designing a lot of what you see here anyway already. He was the guy that invented a lot of the graphical user interface, if not all the graphical user interface for the Macintosh. And here's Mac Paint. You know, not a whole lot to it, but at the time, you know. There's a really crappy dragon. Some of the things we can do here, you can spray paint it. Standard fare with anything today. This isn't very exciting, but this select field here was brand new. Nobody had ever seen that before. And yeah, that's the whole thing. So let's see if MacWrite works. Yeah, it should. Here we go. So this was, I think, the pretty much defining feature of the Macintosh when it came out was word processing and this amazing, crazy concept of proportionally spaced fonts. So what that means, obviously, is that your L, if you can even see that, that's kind of small. Actually, here's another amazing feature of the time, being able to go to your menu and make the font bigger and change it and all that stuff. That's pretty amazing stuff to a person in 1984. So yeah, basically your L is a different width than your I is a different width from your O and your M and your / apparently. You know, all these things had their own defined sizes, and it made for text on your computer that basically looked more like something out of a book. And it's stuff like that that kind of revolutionized printing, desktop publishing, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, even if you're not that interested in Apple or computers, certainly not old computers, it's interesting stuff, I think, you know, where all this stuff came from and the people that were responsible for making a lot of it. And it's probably not going to be too amazing to go through each of these system disks, but what I can do is shut this down. No, we don't want to save, even though that's an amazing work of art, or text, whatever you want to call it. And of course, even if you're not familiar with Macs, you probably know, to eject the disk, there's no button on here to eject, so you just drag the disk to the trash. Drag the disk to the trash. Okay, so that isn't something they invented at that time. We'll see that when we boot up another disk here, but I think, oh wow. Okay, yeah, you can eject. I'm not sure if it lets you eject the system disk. Okay, it does. There's no shutdown menu, so basically that's it. You turn the thing off. Boom. So we'll boot up, I believe the maximum version of the system it can boot into, System 4 or something. I tried booting System 6 and it crashed very spectacularly, so I don't know if that was just my disk or if it can't run System 6. I'm pretty sure it can't. And, you know, it looks like not a lot's changed and not a lot has changed, but, you know, we've got a different little Macintosh info window here, and, oh, look at that. We can shut down now. That's handy. I guess the eject is still in the file menu. Later, you eject from the special menu, but, you know. So that's about it. We can shut down now and, see you next video.